Indeed. Yes. Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to the 2 o'clock live transmission from Hindu Academy. I'm waiting for two of our musketeers to join me. One of them is already online, Manish Bhai, and I'm waiting for Nishit Bhai to call me as well. So we'll get started. Manish Bhai, first of all, I of course welcome all the viewers who are kind of dedicatedly following our work, and I will ask Manish Bhai to get us started. Yes, so Manish Bhai, what is your first issue?
Jai Bhai, so we are launching a new course on comprehensive Hinduism. What's that all about, and what is the purpose behind this course?
Indeed. We are about to, this evening, we are going to send out a WhatsApp clip to all our dedicated followers regarding this new course we are launching. Now, the reason is this. You see, at the moment when we come across Hindu youngsters, or even professionals in the West, their knowledge of Hinduism is so poor, they are put off by Hinduism. They run away from Hinduism. They couldn't be bothered. So the situation is very poor because our own youngsters are very poorly educated about our own tradition. The reason is very simple. Last government took out Hinduism from the public arena in India. So Hinduism cannot be taught in Indian schools for the last 70 years. So all these youngsters who have been brought up in the last 70 years in India have very poor, very scattered, very disjointed knowledge about their tradition. Most of the stuff they picked up is from the Puranis, Kathakars, legendary storytellers, glorified storytellers. So it is not really, a very kind of, very articulate vision of Hinduism. It's a legendary vision of Hinduism, and they are forced to absorb this as literal truth. So they are really put off by what they find. So this is the situation we face. So it is crucial for us to, in a way, because in India you can't teach Hinduism in schools. So let us do an e-learning course which allows our Hindu youngsters in India as well as worldwide to in a way engage with their tradition and understand their tradition in a very structured and systematic manner. That's what we are trying to do. So this course is being launched shortly. I think within a few days we'll launch the course. We are going to send out a WhatsApp clip this evening telling people where they can kind of participate or join the course. I'll just give the background. If you just go to the website called hindu-academy.com, hindu-academy.com, they will let you, there is a little button you click to join the course. So you become, you subscribe to the course. First thing, it's free. We have no commercial motivation whatsoever. We have never sold religion, unlike lots of modern gurus. We don't charge at all for attending our course or attending our talks, and this course is free of charge as well. Secondly, this course offers a comprehensive vision of Hinduism rather than a very sectarian vision of Hinduism. Many Hindus who are devout have been weaned on a very sectarian vision of Hinduism. Nothing wrong. You must get started somewhere, and if your family belongs to a sectarian movement, of course they will ask you to engage with their sectarian movement. But in a way, however grand the sectarian movements are, they all have a blinkered vision about Hinduism. They say we only like to focus on this particular Godhead. And that is the limited vision they will present to the youngsters. Now, the world we live in doesn't allow this kind of blinkered vision anymore. We require a comprehensive vision of Hinduism that in a way kind of links well with the modern world that we live in. This sectarian, very limited vision will not do anymore. We don't have that opportunity anymore. That opportunity is gone now. So we have to embrace a much more. That's my second musketeer. Now, Nishit Bhai, welcome to the show. And we just started on this e-learning course, so you can then ask me questions as we go along. Okay, so this is, if you like, a more comprehensive vision of Hinduism we are offering. And it is important for the youngsters to relate to the vaster vision, because if this blinkered vision they have will not stand up to the challenges of science, of rationality, and of challenges from other religions. So this vision that we are offering is broad and comprehensive. That's one of the main features of our course. Comprehensive vision of Hinduism. Secondly, it's a structured vision of Hinduism, not some disjointed, you pick up something from this guru and something from this particular Purani, not mix and match. It is very systematic, standardized, well-organized, structured education in Hinduism. So it's a structured course. Thirdly, it offers a course which is comprehensible, rational, makes sense. It's not kind of flying off the tangent and talking about all this legendary stuff is real. And so it's a very comprehensible or a rational vision of Hinduism that sits well with modern science and rational challenges. In fact, it has got the power to take science a step forward. It's a very powerful, kind of asset we possess, our inheritance. So it's a very comprehensible, a rational vision of Hinduism, structural vision of Hinduism, comprehensive vision of Hinduism, and the most important thing that I like to rub in. You see, many Hindus say, Mr. Lakhani, I want to study the Vedas, where should I go? I say, you'll get lost. I've tried it. Vedas were very suitable for ancient people, and there are a lot of very powerful stuff in the Upanishadic teaching which is part of the Vedas. Philosophically very sound and solid and useful and very encouraging. And yet if you say, I want to study the Vedas, you'll get lost. We are a living tradition. You keep forgetting. The Hindus are stodgy, they must go back to the old. We are a living tradition. We recognize that our tradition continues to evolve and takes into account the changing circumstances in the world that we live in. So we are an evolving religion, and we have produced this Vedas. Vedas means knowledge that you acquire through spiritual experience. Now we have produced lots of spiritual giants in the last few centuries, and they present the same ideas you see from Vashishta and Vishwamitra, suitable to the world that we live in, this world. So our vision is very much a comprehensive, contemporary, modern vision of Hinduism, and that is why this course is very crucial. If I ask you to memorize some slokas from the Vedas, etc., you'll get tired. I'm giving you a very simple, modern vision of Hinduism, comprehensive vision of Hinduism, well-structured vision of Hinduism, rational vision of Hinduism. That is why this course must attract the Hindu youth who are struggling. Many are very keen to learn about the religion in this particular manner, and it's not available. So we are offering this very free e-learning course that we hope all the Hindus worldwide will subscribe to. And how can this happen? If our supporters basically make sure this course is well advertised. You share this WhatsApp we are sending this evening to all the people that you know, then you see they will all engage with it, and we are going to start the course in about a week's time. The course is well structured, we've got very good tutors, you get kind of usual e-learning tools to use to learn the course, and we will then not only that we'll send you notes, we will in fact test you on a regular basis, and if you pass your test well, then we will in a way give you accreditation from Hindu Academy. But does this just stop with Hindu Academy? We are fine, but we still need to have accreditation from a very astute academic body. Now we are very close with Cambridge University Board, and they run this course. Only thing is at the moment they are in a lockdown, so we can't even communicate with them. But we know that they normally set exams in October, and these exams can be, anybody can sit for this exam in any part of the world. These are called international GCSE course in Hinduism. So our candidates, after they finish our course, will automatically be ready to sit for the IGCSE from Cambridge University Board, and there are set kind of there are examination centers approved by Cambridge Board throughout the world in the main cities. So the candidates can go there, take the exams. Normally the exams take place in October. This year we are not sure because of coronavirus. But so the candidates can sit for these exams in their own country, get accreditation not just from Hindu Academy, but from the Cambridge University. And I tell you why this particular accreditation is useful. This accreditation is recognized by all the universities. So when you're applying to go to any university, this will hold your hand. Our experience, our candidates who have set for this exam in the past have managed to go to the top universities because of Hinduism, because this is an exotic subject, not just physics, chemistry, maths and biology and all that. This is a very exotic subject, very, very kind of philosophic subject. So the major universities in UK, for example, from our experience, Oxford, Cambridge, UCL, Imperial have been very keen to invite our youngsters for interviews straight away as soon as they find out they're set for this IGCSE course in Hinduism. So this is a very important carrot we are offering you. This will allow you to enter top universities as a valid course that will in a way hold your hand when you apply to go to top universities. These are the main features of the course. We'll run it, we start in a week's time, and of course we've got very lovely kind of group of teachers who will send you notes. We will send you tests to sit for, mark it, and we'll give accreditation as well. As I said, this will be followed by accreditation by Cambridge Board once the lockdown is over. Nishitbhai, any questions you want to ask? Nishitbhai? I've lost one of the musketeers. Hello? Yes, any questions you want to ask?
Well, it's a great initiative you've taken so far, and I'm sure a lot of people have been looking forward to the free courses.
Nishitbhai,
I was wondering...
Go on.
I was wondering today if we can look at some issues regarding non-violence. So, in Hindus we've got a huge tradition of not usually, and we've got Atiti Devo Bhava, and we've got so many different nice things, but I think sometimes you can look at the point both on the other side, you've got the time when you have to stand up for yourself. Can you discuss a little bit about ahimsa?
Okay, indeed. Later on during this session, we are going to try and tackle some of these moral and ethical issues that we have to, kind of address in Hindu tradition. I think the YouTube is struggling, but we will hopefully, yes, we are back. Okay, first of all, this issue about ahimsa. Since ancient times, you recognize this idea that all life is sacred. Not only human life, all life is sacred. Even plants are sacred. Hindus have recognized this for thousands of years. So they have been promoting the idea of ahimsa, means non-violence towards all living things. Whether they are animals, humans, plants, insects, whatever. They have always been like that. And yet you would say, but Mr. Lakhani, it sounds okay, but even when I breathe, you are taking on, taking lots of lives. The bacteria go in your lungs, they get destroyed straight away. So even the process of breathing, I'm taking a lot of life. So you can't really be a true practitioner of ahimsa, however hard you try. So what happens? First, we must recognize our limitation as human beings. You see, even though we promote the idea of ahimsa, the very process of living means we are going to step on other life forms. It's inevitable. And in order for human beings to survive, they live on other life forms. So the Hindus say, fair enough, there's no choice. We are cursed to live on other life forms, so be it. But the only thing we can say is, if you want to live on other life forms, live on the least evolved life forms rather than the highly evolved life forms. So we say, rather than, butcher animals, if you have to live on plants, and this better because they are kind of less evolved forms of life, so you feel a little bit better because the more highly evolved life forms feel more pain than you can imagine. I mean, look, animals live at the level of senses. So if you cut an animal, the amount of pain the animal will feel will be far more than what pain we feel as human beings, because they live at the level of senses. They are more sensitive. So the pain that animals suffer is is frightening. In fact, a lot of English girls' school that I go to teach, they say we are becoming vegetarians because we are very not comfortable with the pain that is inflicted on animals used for human consumption. I say, wonderful ladies, you are wonderful, you're on the right track. So this is one only thing that comes out. The other issue that we must tackle is this. Ahimsa comes in context. For example, suppose, you got Hitler saying, I'm going to rule you, control you, and demolish you, perhaps, murder all of you, like he murdered all the Jews. He said, I murder all the Hindus. What should we do? So, ahimsa, come and walk all over us. No. Your tradition teaches the following. You see, some Hindus have misunderstood ahimsa. They say ahimsa paramo dharma. This is the best religion. Sounds so nice and colorful and idyllic. And yet the second part of the particular sloka says in the Mahabharata, but if you have to stand up for your dharma, for religion, you have to take up arms. You see, it allows you. So the context will decide to what extent you can really be an ahimsa follower. So if Hitler is going to attack us, we have to say, no, we are going to stand up and fight. So this ability for us to recognize ahimsa for what it is and in a way practice it within context is a much more sober way of relating to ahimsa. So some Hindus have forgotten, they just say ahimsa paramo dharma, but that is not Hinduism. The second part, they want to ignore it. And then they pay a heavy price because they get run over. We are not a pacifist religion. This means pacifism means let everybody walk all over me. We don't do that. We are a very vibrant tradition. We say, no, if your dignity is being compromised, your religion is being undermined, you must stand up and take up arms if necessary. I'm sorry to talk like this, but I'm not a violent person. But you must understand this particular sloka in its full context and not this kind of half-hearted manner, which perhaps does tremendous harm to us. Nishit Bhai, have I answered enough?
Yes, thank you so much. If you Manish Bhai got another question?
Yes, I'll pass on to Manish Bhai. We've got two musketeers on the phone. Yes, Manish Bhai.
Jai Bhai, so somebody was asking, I think Tushar Patel was asking, whether our course will cover learning of Sanskrit language. So just if you could briefly cover what topics we will be covering in our course.
Indeed. Okay. First of all, I must apologize. Our course does not cover Sanskrit. It's not that we dislike Sanskrit, it's just that we are not geared up to teach Sanskrit or to mark Sanskrit. We are not geared up for that. And in a way, I'm saying the thing. We are an evolving tradition. Sanskrit was an ancient language that we have used with the Vedic scriptures. Wonderful it is. And it's got a wonderful idyllic material in it, highly poetic material in it. And yet we are unable to, in a way, teach this. But I'm not frightened by it or worried by it because we are an evolving religion. The world we live in is not living in the Sanskrit language or India even. So the modern world we live in is quite comfortable with English. So the course is presented in English. We are not apologizing for it because this is the international language, and we want this course to not just be suitable for Hindus but for people of other religion as well as no religion. We want this course to go worldwide. So we are not fixated on Sanskrit, but we are not undermining Sanskrit. We recognize its validity and its power, its poetic power, especially in the Upanishadic teachings. Okay, that's one part. Let me tell you about how the course is kind of structured. You see, there are 6 dimensions to every world religion. And the 6th dimension is as follows. Most people don't realize this, recognize this. And they just kind of weaned on kathas and bhajans, and it doesn't do any justice to the depth of Hindu tradition, the breadth of vision of Hinduism. Hinduism will come first, the most central dimension. The first dimension is experiential dimension. This is where religion starts, where Hinduism starts. Somebody says, I'm enlightened. Not somebody who just read a book and is doing kathas. They are secondary people. They are just glorified storytellers. But we can't make the distinction. Oh, they must be, great personality. They are good storytellers. Learn. Hindus learn. So we start with experiential dimension. That means we focus on those personalities who are talking about spirituality from first-hand experience, whether they're ancient or modern. We prefer the modern ones because they talk in our own language. So we focus on the experiential dimension to start our journey. Exactly who are the kind of enlightened personalities of our own time who can teach us about our tradition in our own, suited to our own time. That's first part, experiential dimension. You mustn't stop there. Then this experience that they talk about has to be interpreted, understood. So this is, if you like, the intellectual or the philosophic dimension to our tradition. So we touched on that. What does it? How does it translate to in a rational manner? The intellectual dimension, the philosophic dimension. How does it tackle the issues or the challenges that come from modern philosophers and thinkers and rational thinkers? We will tackle that. The second part. The third part is always every tradition, every philosophic subtle ideas also have to be carried with using some kind of narrative. And the narrative we like to use is the narrative of the Upanishads, the colorful narrative in which we start our spiritual journey. So we will use that kind of narrative, not the kathas, but the narratives of this nature. We will acknowledge the importance of the Purans, we'll acknowledge the importance of the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, the epics, but at the same time we'll move on to the Upanishadic teachings which the modern Hindus have never come across. Zero knowledge about Upanishads. So we'll touch on that as well. So this is the narrative aspect. Then we come to the ritual aspect. Look, this is the biggest flaw. Ask any Hindu youngster, why are you doing this ritual? They don't know. Why are you doing Havan? They have no clue. They say, we'll go and ask our parents. The parents say, we don't know. We've been doing it. When we buy a house, we have to do Havan. They have no clue what they're on about. So we are going to touch on the ritual aspect, why we do certain rituals at a certain time and what is their significance. If we don't understand the why aspect, then these rituals become meaningless and mechanical. They become counterproductive. So this is why it's important for us to recognize the importance of rituals, at the same time recognize why we do them, and so that we are able to evolve with the changing circumstances. So this is, if you like, the ritual dimension. Then we don't stop there. Then we say, okay, what about the ethical and moral dimension? Because how do these ideas translate into practice for modern Hindus? Suppose the issue of euthanasia comes up, issue of abortion comes up, issue of divorce comes up. How do Hindus react to this kind of ethical and moral dimensions? So that's the other dimension we didn't touch on. But the final dimension is a killer, really. It says the social and the cultural dimension. Now you see, when you think about philosophy or religion in kind of individual terms, it's straightforward. But when these ideas enter society, they get severely compromised. And sometimes we don't recognize the compromising nature of society. The society is a habit of it's got a different animal. So in a way, it undermines some of the deeper vision because of social elements. I'll just give you some examples. It's the hereditary caste system. Now, caste system was a very simple idea in the scripture of authority, saying division of labor based on your ability. What a wonderful idea. But in no time, when it enters society, immediately turns into this very nasty, hereditary, hierarchical caste system, still visible in the villages in India. Now, this is a human flaw, it's a human limitation, nothing to do with religious teaching, and yet it parades as religious teaching in, say, Hinduism, or as English class system in United Kingdom. So we have to address the idea that when these religious ideas enter society, they can sometimes be compromised. So the social and the cultural dimension are very crucial. So we'll engage with that as well. So these are the different dimensions of religion, and we're going to touch on all of them without getting caught up by any kind of limited sectarian vision and try and offer you a very broad vision. The most important thing is this, my friends. Hinduism comes in 2 flavors: personality oriented and principle oriented. And the Hindus have forgotten the principle oriented completely. The foundation. Sorry, Nishita, you wanted to say something?
No. Carry on.
The personality oriented Hinduism is more attractive. In fact, if you look at the Hindus in India, The only way they relate to religion is through personality-oriented tradition. Fair enough, nothing wrong, we never vilify. But this is only one flavor of Hinduism, personality-oriented Hinduism, focusing on super personality, whether it's Ram or Krishna or Vishnu or Shiva or Mother Goddess, fine. No, Hanuman, Ganesh, no problem. But this is, if you like, a one vision. And now this vision will be seriously challenged by the rationalist and the science-oriented world that we live in. They won't tolerate this anymore. Suppose you say the world came about because Vishnu clicked his finger and something from his belly button came out, Brahma, and then created. You tell a scientist this and he said, get lost, go away. So this vision that we have, which is strongly personality-oriented, can no longer stand up to the challenges faced by modern thinking youngsters. So what do? Oh dear, are we lost? No. We have always had these two strands of Hinduism. The principle-oriented Hinduism, it talks about the deeper dimension regarding nature of reality. Who the heck are we? What is underpinning this reality? Atman and Brahman. This is principle-oriented Hinduism. That's how Hinduism started. Because the ideas of Atman and Brahman are so subtle, we had to create all the super personalities to engage with this idea of Atman and Brahman. But they are very powerful. They are the underpinning to Hinduism, principle-oriented Hinduism, Apurushaya Hinduism. So we are going to focus on that. That part is missing completely at the moment. Ask any Kathaka, what is Atman Brahman? They'll give you a waffle. So this idea of understanding the deeper principle-oriented Hinduism is crucial for Hinduism to survive the rational, modern, science-oriented world that we live in. So we are going to make a big thing about this principle-oriented Hinduism, how it is relevant. Not only is it relevant for the way we lead our lives, it gives you a better handle on reality, which even science is struggling with. So we are not frightened by science, we love science. So science is now pointing to a deeper dimension of reality, which is essentially non-material. And who can stand up to this? Our principle-oriented Hinduism is ready for it. So this is where we are going to focus, put a lot of effort on focusing on science and Hinduism. How the modern vision of science in a way sits extremely well with Hinduism, and it's not frightened. Hinduism is not frightened by science. In fact, it's telling science, look, you are stuck, aren't you? We'll take you forward. This is the authority with which we can speak. These are the different dimensions. Sorry, I get carried away. Manish Bhai, have you got anything else to ask?
We have a question from Christopher Green, sir. He's asking about Raj Yoga. He's saying, how do we keep our compass or direction when we start on Raj Yoga path? And what are the signposts?
Okay. You see, first of all, let me be very frank. Raj Yoga is one of the difficult disciplines that we impose if you are serious about making spiritual progress. The only tradition perhaps in the world, well, I can say perhaps Hinduism as well as other Indic traditions, is to say that don't just believe in God and die. Things won't, or believe in spirituality and die. It won't work, they say. You need to experience or come face to face with what you are talking about. Not just believe in it and die. Nothing will be sorted out. You'll just be reborn. So we say religions have to become experiential and first-hand. Belief is a starting point of your religious journey, but it must conclude with realization. Sakshatkar is the Sanskrit term. So we insist that you must don't just believe and die, actually experience, come face to face with what you are talking about, God or spirit or Atman, or you must come face to face with it, and we insist on it. So the only tradition that I would say that really has put a challenge to mankind is Hinduism, saying, you are serious, you are asking me challenging question about God and spirit, I give you an experiment to try on yourself. If you succeed in this experiment, you become the prophet of humanity. If you fail, you still lead a disciplined life. But we promise you one thing, this is a very serious challenge we are giving to human beings, saying, are you serious about spiritual progress? Then practice this Raj Yoga that Patanjali has put forward. Now Patanjali, these disciplines are very severe. I'll just touch on some of them. That is why it's difficult to keep your focus. But don't get frightened. Life is like that. It's a fun, and you have to fight all these kind of challenges that we face. So Patanjali says, this is called Ashtanga Yoga, means there are 8 limbs to it. Now the first 2 are the killers. They're saying even before you sit down to meditate, it's okay, now close my eyes, go home. Before you start there, they says, look, your regular life must come under control. Your routine life has to be regulated before you even sit down to meditate. Don't rush. It won't work. Try it. Without putting in this initial disciplines, if you try and close your eyes, you'll get in a mess. You come out very quickly saying, I can't meditate. The important disciplines you need to put in before you even sit down to meditate are called yama and niyama. Disciplines and observances in your routine life. We don't like to do that, do we? We don't like to be disciplined. So it is insisting that we do this take on these disciplines. And the disciplines are, yama are this. Look how tough they are. Yama says, satya, ahimsa, astai, aparigraha, brahmacharya. You say, oh, sounds okay, colorful, what is that? Satya, yeah, we are truthful people. We are not. All of us know. I'm not truthful either. In the name of diplomacy, in the name of being kind of very, kind of courteous, we sometimes do not follow this important aspect of being truthful. Satya means what you think, you say, and what you say, you must fulfill. Now I'm telling you, suppose you see somebody in the morning, you say good morning. It's been a nasty morning, but you say good morning is a matter of courtesy. It's wrong. You lied. Or suppose you say I'll see you tomorrow, and suppose you can't see that person, you do go and run to his house and knock on his door and say, I told you I'll see you tomorrow, I must see you. So you have to be stickler for truth. It's not easy. Just this first discipline, according to my mentor, if you can follow just this first discipline, Satya, being established in truth, that will lead you straight away. Because you become joined up, so you are more ready for meditation. So these 5 disciplines, Satya, Ahimsa, Apsteya, Aparigraha, Brahmacharya, are very tough cookies. And the toughest cookie is the final one, Brahmacharya. Ask a modern youngster to focus on Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya doesn't mean, lead a life focusing on Brahman. It basically means no lovey-dovey, not even in your dreams. Tell a modern youngster that you can't even imagine, you can't think all these thoughts about other gender. They'll run away from you straight away. They say, Mr. Lakhani, the only fun I had in life was gender attraction. You stopped me. So they will say, we can't do it. So the first yama will immediately knock out a lot of people. They can't follow this particular thing. They will kind of run away from you. But so be it. So yama is the first, like a killer. You must observe it in a routine life before you are ready to fit to sit for meditation. The second ones are called observances in a routine life. They are called niyama. And they are saucha, santosh, tapas, vadhyaya, ishwar pranidhan. I won't go into great depth into it because otherwise we'll spend the whole hour just talking about that. But these are the initial requirements before you sit down for meditation, my friend. So if anybody is serious, first put your life in order, and that is not easy. I'm warning you, I've tried it. First put your life in order, and then your system becomes well joined up, your thinking process becomes well joined up, you get a better control on the mind. The aim of yoga is very simple. Chitta vritti nirodh. Hold the mind still. Try it. It's impossible. But if you got these observances in place, then it's possible for you to hold your mind still for a moment. You know what happens? You don't conjure up a god or spirit because you hold the mind like that. When the mind holds still, it reveals reality in its true way. It reveals reality as it is. You don't conjure it up. So this idea of Atman and Brahman and God, Goddess become reality for you because there they are sitting in the front of you. But because your mind was whirling, you couldn't see that. So this is what Yam and Niyam are all about. I think I'll take some more questions. Nishit bhai, anything else?
Yes, before I ask the question,
yes,
I wanted to share some statistics with you and the viewers.
Please do.
These are regarding some our YouTube channel statistics.
Go ahead.
So I was noting we are now at 4.5 million views.
Mm-hmm.
We have reached 52,000 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time I shared the stats, we were at 15 million minutes watched. Would you like to guess how many million minutes we are at now?
Nishit bhai, you are the expert. I am nobody. My knowledge of internet is very poor. As you can see, I'm holding phones in my hand. You tell us.
Well, the good news is that we have now reached 21.2 million minutes watched of the channel.
Okay, sir.
So congratulations everybody.
Yes, we are good. Look, because we are genuine, we are not selling any gimmicks, we are not asking, offering any magic miracles. I think we are generating very good kind of following from people who are sincere about spiritual progress. You're not looking for externals, looking for spiritual progress. So we are generating a very good following from very sincere people. I'm fully aware because I get very warm emails from almost everybody. And once in a while, somebody wants to challenge me, want to go into debate with me. And do you know what I do, Nishit bhai? And so I'll debate with you about this and that. I say, look, my friend, you win. Go away.
So before I come to my next question,
yes.
I want the viewers to think about something and then reply on Facebook or on YouTube to this situation. I want the viewers to think about how the lockdown has changed their approach to life. Are they now moving a little bit away from materialistic world? Are they looking a little bit more into self-care? Have they used this time lockdown to look into their inner self or look into their higher self? Or maybe just spend some time with their friends and family. How are they using their time right now? They could share with us on Facebook and YouTube so we can see the difference it has made in their lives.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to explore, Nishit Bhai. Wonderful way to explore how human beings are behaving. My own personal knowledge is this. Some actually fall on the kind of the lower rungs of society, lower rungs of aspiration. They say we just get drunk. We just, hide in our houses and get drunk, and whatever happens outside, we don't care. And some who are kind of religiously oriented say, we just sing bhajan, bhajan, bhajan. Outside there is a virus rampant, but we just keep singing bhajan and it holds our hand. So be it. So you've got these kind of different ways human beings relate to this lockdown. It is creating real hell for a lot of people, especially for children and families, because they are locked up together, and it's not easy. They have to readjust their lives, and it's not easy. So we'll be very interested to see how our viewers react to your lovely questions. We'll see how it goes.
Fantastic. Now, he was asking the question.
Yes, sir.
How do you find the mind in Hinduism?
Sorry, how do I define the mind? Define mind?
The mind. Yes,
Okay.
the mind is separate from the body.
Yes. Yeah, how do you define? Yes. Okay, the classical way they were defining the body and the mind distinction was in Platonic terms, that there are two dimensions to us: the physicality that we possess, as well as something that is making sense of the physicality that they define as metaphysical, not physical but metaphysical. Now, metaphysical, somehow some people think is kind of woolly stuff. It is not woolly. In fact, it is much stronger than physical. It's saying meta, bigger than physical. That's how it was defined originally. So we say mind is not a minor feature. It is the mind that allows us to make sense of the world. So the vagaries of the mind, or the ability of the mind, or the locus of the operation of the mind in a way will define how we see reality. So mind is not a minor thing, but it's not a physical reality. So this causes problem for some many scientists who are trying to say it has to be empirical. So they say we're looking at the neuron cells firing, and that defines the mind, saying the quirkiness, kind of interaction between neurons is producing a fuzz that we call mind. That is not correct. Mind is the metaphysical aspect that we all possess. I'll give you an example, very cutting example. Bernard Russell, a major mathematician, was asked, what is mathematics? Oh, he's the biggest mathematician England produced in the last century. And his answer was very blunt. He's very realist. He said, I have no clue what is mathematics, where it comes from. We seem to all have it and it seems to work. This is how we define the mind. We don't know what the heck it is. It is not physical, it's not material, yet we all possess it, and it gives us a better handle on reality. That's exactly what Bernard Russell said. So if somebody says, what is metaphysical? Say, mathematics, what is that? Is that something physical? No, but we still use it, it works. So metaphysical is something greater than the body, then greater than the physical, and that in a way is something that is underpinning us. But because it is not physical, we can't focus on it. We only get focused on it when you try and meditate and say, what the heck is this mind? But mind is very crucial. But again, there's another interesting thing I must touch on. I'm just touching on it at the moment. You see, according to Hinduism, there is something called Mahat, which is not just individual mind, but cosmic mind. This is a very interesting idea. It is the Mahat that we have, in a way, gives us, if you like, in a way, allows us to reflect reality, Mahat. But the Mahat is such that we all individualize this Mahat and make it into individual minds. So I can see something from my particular perspective through these eyes. You can see it from your eyes. So to say this Mahat is used by all of us by individualizing it as individual minds. But it belongs to the same underpinning Mahat, the cosmic mind. Why is this so important? This is why we can agree with the physical reality. Suppose you say, how can you be sure regarding a physical reality? This is because we all agree. The reason why we agree is we are using the same mindset underpinning. I'm just touching on the philosophic dimension of Mahat and mind, but this is something that I'm going to explore when I talk about science and spirituality, because this is how we can explain why the universe seems to be expanding all the time. It is nothing with the physicality, it is to do with the Mahat, but I'll talk about it separately. Nishit Bhai, any other questions, sir?
Yes, we have one question here, which is, how does modern Hinduism negotiate traditions with modern life?
Sorry, how does it negotiate?
Traditions?
Yeah, okay, with great difficulty. You see, in the Hindu mind has got a few kind of quirkiness. First of all, it likes to be sentimental. We love Hindu. This is, if you like, the strength and the weakness of Hindus. We are sentimental people. We get highly emotional. And that is why when you see all these bhajan and katha, you say, this is the only way we can relate to reality, spirituality. So this idea of becoming kind of strongly, involved with the emotive aspect in a way kind of limits us. So this kind of getting too caught up with wallowing in sentimentality is a drawback. So this is one of the greatest drawbacks. The second drawback I see with modern Hindus is this: they are very stodgy. They have great difficulty in moving forward. So if I tell them, look, Ram and Krishna are wonderful, but then there is this guy called Vivekananda. They say, oh, we like to sing Hanuman Chalisa. I say, why don't you sing Vivekananda Chalisa? He's your modern messenger of strength. Why do you get fixated on all? No, but he swallowed the sun. Go and tell a scientist. See, straight away, but the Hindu mind, no, must do Hanuman Chalisa at universities. I say, do Vivekananda Chalisa, modern messenger of strength. Not tension, nothing wrong with Hanuman. I like Hanuman, I was brought up on Hanuman, but move on, my friends. No, stodgy. We are a very stodgy tradition. So we have a great problem with the traditionalists, and I have a problem with traditionalists. They run away from me because they can't stand what I'm talking about, because it's not in the Shastras. Where is it in the Shastra? So they get run away from me, and I don't mind, let them run away. So we have a very stodgy system, and I'm struggling to move the Hindus forward. I'm struggling, but I'll keep doing it because I love, these are my people. I have to push them. They're stodgy, so be it. I have to push even harder. And that's what we are trying to do through this kind of e-learning course. I'll ask Manish Bhai to ask some questions because I think we've lost him. Manish Bhai, your turn to ask some questions, sir.
Okay, sir. One question regarding the Raj Yoga going back. We haven't touched upon, one of the niyama called tap. If you could elaborate on that, how to practice tap.
Jap, you're saying? Sorry?
No, tapacharya.
Oh, tap. Okay, let's talk about that. Yes. The niyam says Saucha Santosh Tapa Swadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhana. What is this tap? And I know Paul Elliott gets worked up about tap. He keeps asking me challenging about tap. What is tapa? Tap basically means austerities. When you want to progress in any field, you need to invoke certain strong disciplines on yourself. This is standard. Suppose you want to study physics or maths or whatever, you have to discipline yourself into how you think, how you address the issue of quantum or whatever, how do you do equations. So you have to become disciplined. And discipline comes through regular repetition. Simple as that, regular repetition. And so the tap is basically saying wash away. Tap means burn it away. Burn away the impurities in your system. So the mind is kind of in a very impure state. So tapa means be so austere. Adopt a very austere attitude to life and to making sense of your condition and controlling your mind through tapa. Tapa means austerities. Disciplining your mind to think in a particular fashion, go in a straight line that way through repeat practice. So tapa is burning away the impurities of the mind. That is how I would define tapa. I think I may have addressed Paul Elliott's question. He asked me all these very weird questions sometimes, some difficult questions to answer sometimes. But I love this guy because he means well. So I'll take on some more questions.
Okay, sir. One question is in Bhagavad Gita, a term is used called sthit prajna.
Yes.
How to identify a sthit prajna? What is that all about?
Yes, indeed. Let's talk about that. You see, a person who is already established in God realization or self-realization, who is enlightened, automatically attains a state of mind which is called sthita prajna. That means he is not easily swayed by pleasure and not put off by pain. He seems to kind of be, has got equality towards, when pain comes, he takes it on. When pleasure comes, he takes it on without getting agitated. Sthita means he's fixed. He's very, in a way, very steady in the way he approaches life. So when a person becomes enlightened, but the thing is sometimes people say, let's try it other way around. Let's become sthita prajna and then we'll become enlightened. Perfectly fine. So if you are able to kind of control your mind so it doesn't get kind of agitated so easily when something painful appears like the coronavirus, or doesn't get very easily kind of exuberant when something good happens, you win the lottery, whatever. If you are able to keep your mind controlled, keep yourself under control, that is the state of sthita prajna. In a way, that allows you to kind of have a handle on your mind. This is what we are talking about, Raj Yoga. Handle on your mind. So if you are able to keep the mind under control, then the state of sthita prajna may produce enlightenment. But the good part is when you are enlightened, you automatically become a sthita prajna. Look at all the major prophets of the world. Not only Hindus, all major prophets. They were in the state of sthita prajna. So we see the story of ancient prophets, modern prophets. They are sthita prajna. Like my mentor Sri Ramakrishna, he was struggling with cancer or something. He was agitated by it. No, he was just playing along. Yeah, okay, this is the body has come to an end. Let it go like that. It's very, not getting caught up by the emotive kind of ideas. Oh, I'm dying or something. So this is called sthita prajna. When you become enlightened, you are already established in that state. You don't need to look for it. But for ordinary person, it's a good idea to develop this particular attitude so that we, in a way, invoke enlightenment in our own lives. That's all I can say. Nishit Bhai, a question from you, sir?
Yes, sir. One of the Facebook friends has asked a question that he has watched your spiritual videos on Ramakrishna Paramhansa, Vivekananda, and Raman Maharishi. He wants to know about the spiritual heart center mentioned by Raman Maharishi. He was pointing this to the Anahat Chakra. So the question is, what is the importance of this important spiritual heart center?
Yeah. Okay. According to me, this is my own personal take. Be careful, because even though I have studied Ramana Maharshi, I cannot be 100% sure that I'm doing justice to what I'm saying now. Okay, when you are successful in meditation, a real physical kind of movement takes place in your body. You'll be surprised in meditation, how does the body get affected? If you like, stirring up starts at the base of your spine. This is called the Muladhara Chakra. The base of the spine begins to get kind of ticklish. This is how it starts. And then that particular ticklishness or kind of movement moves up the spine. Sometimes it moves very fast, sometimes very slow, depending on the individual. Sometimes it moves like a little ant climbing up, sometimes it moves like a snake winding up. But this particular movement continues to go higher. So once in the Muladhara is still at the lower level, then it goes up to your belly button, then it goes up to your heart center. Now here something magical happens. When that particular movement reaches your heart center, this is my personal experience, what happens is that you lose body consciousness. Thankfully, for the first time, you think you don't have a body anymore. You can't feel and hear you from your ears. They just get switched off. And yet you are fully alive. You're not going into kind of stupor or some kind of epileptic fit. You become much more alive, much more active, much more engaging, much more intense in the way you experience reality. This is the heart chakra. So when you enter that, the important thing is this. Once you enter the heart center, you are in a position for the first time to know you are not the body. You are not the body. Thankfully, you've grown out that you are the body. You are not the body or the mind, and you have risen above that. And there you see, this is the place of enlightenment. Because according to me, you see in that state, different people will see different things because it depends on their own mental makeup. But according to me, you see the most brilliant light that you imagine. It's not the light of the sun. It seems like insignificant. You see a different kind of light in which you are there, in front of that light. You experience that light. Now you see that light, first you see, and the language that comes out from your mind, you are working up, what the heck is this? The experience says, what is this? What is this? And the language, Ramakrishna uses, me, what is this? What is this? You. So you see this most brilliant light, and I would say it's the light of the Gayatri. We prayed the Gayatri. Gayatri is the light you want to enlighten you. So this is the light of the Gayatri you experience for yourself. And then, first you see yourself as watching this light, observer, you are the subject and the light is the object. In no time, you recognize your oneness with the light. So the subject-object divide disappears as well. This is the heart chakra according to me. Ramana Maharshi may have a different appreciation, but this is my own personal take. Okay, sir. Nishit Bhai, can I take you to... Sorry, Manish Bhai, anything else I can add?
Yes, sir. We got a question from Pradenji Kumar. He's asking, is it possible for one to leave the body consciously and not reborn? And how does one know that? So is that possible to leave the body? And the question is that like suicide? So could explore suicide as well?
No, please, don't equate enlightenment with suicide. For goodness sake, don't. They are completely opposite ends. First, when you are so desperate, you throw your body away. It doesn't sort your problem out because you'll be reborn and your problems start again. You start again playing the same game. So suicide is not a solution to human condition. That's the worst thing you can do. That means you're running away from life. It doesn't help. Enlightenment means you don't run away from life. That's the last thing you do. You embrace life more fully. Remember this thing. Look at all the prophets. Do you think they were running away from life? I don't have to hide from all the problems of the world. To the contrary, they embrace the world with greater strength. They become one with the greater world. They feel themselves one with the greater humanity. So enlightenment is not suicide. Instead of getting linked up with this little tiddly fellow, I'm this. You become linked up with the whole creation. And that is called, if you like, not suicide. How can you call that suicide? You are now becoming, instead of being just one individual, you become infinite individuals. You become all the individuals in the world. You say, I'm that. So you become linked with the whole of creation, whole of reality. You're not getting snuffed out. You are getting much more kind of linked up with the whole creation. It might blow your fuses, but it's just what it is. So it's nothing to do with suicide. So don't mix them up. But they are completely opposite end of the pole. I take some more questions from Nishit Bhai.
David,
Yeah.
so unfortunately, one of the side effects of being locked down is the sad reality that, like you mentioned, some people turn to alcohol, some people get depressed, some instances of increased domestic violence, and so on and so forth. Now, what is it that the viewers can do if they are experiencing tough times to look after themselves? So, is it turn to prayer? Is it use of meditation? Is it use of yoga or mindfulness? What can you recommend to people to do to keep themselves mentally healthy as well?
It's a very important issue. Nishit Bhai, this is a very important issue to handle. The modern NHS are getting troubled by this as well. One of the greatest kind of side effects of coronavirus is creating mental health issues. Not just temporary blip, but may have long-term effect on all individuals and children too. It's a serious issue. So we have to act in a constructive manner, as you quite rightly said, in a disciplined manner, in a constructive manner, so that we can write about this. A few kind of practical hints that I can offer is this. Do not keep watching the news where they're talking about coronavirus day and night, because it will depress you even more and more and more, because there's no easy way out. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. So don't get too caught up with the news items. Again, avoid a lot of fake news as well. There are a lot of weird stuff going on in the internet, on the social media, saying do this, drink this, don't drink. Don't get caught up by all this. Focus on the NHS or the main kind of medical organization that you are linked with in your country, and learn from them how to handle your situation. Okay, so first, don't get too frightened. You see, the thing is within all of us is the spirit. Is very powerful. It has gone through a lot of trials and tribulations. Have trust in yourself. That's the first thing you do. Have trust in yourself. Don't lose trust in yourself. Then, you see, you can stand up to any challenge that is thrown in your face. So first thing is, be strong. Recognize your the inner dignity and the power that you possess. You are the spark of God. You are that. What is this coronavirus? Okay, worst comes, will take your life away. So be it. Have the kind of very, very positive attitude. You cannot be demolished. You are the spirit. The viruses can come and go. You will not come and go. You are there, permanent. This is the first attitude you must have. Very strong spiritual foundation to yourself, that I am not that easily disturbed. Develop that strength. It's not easy. There are some practical things I can suggest. Depending on your own natural aptitude, suppose you are kind of very focused on some spiritual personalities that you love, Shiva, Ram, Krishna, whoever, then focus on those personalities, because this is the time they will hold your hand. Because they take you away from this material dimension to a spiritual realm. And that way it releases you from this material, the problem that you face in the material world. Your even economic problems, financial problems, the viral problem, the health problems, you rise above it because you are now entering a spiritual realm where these don't apply. So raise your level from the material to the spiritual level, depending on your own aptitude. Suppose you like some personalities you like to kind of sing the glories of and repeat their names, go for it. Suppose you say, I want to meditate because I get my inner strength out. Go for that. So depending on, I can't say one prescription fits everybody. Different human beings will adopt different prescription to undergo during this difficult period. So be it. Allow for that. But the main thing is move from a material realm to a spiritual realm. In fact, look, the reason why we are offering this e-learning course is one of the reasons is this. At the moment, youngsters are struggling. They don't know how to focus their minds. So if they can focus on this e-learning course we are offering now, free of charge, they'll in a way hold their hand, tell them to think of something higher than the material world they live in. So it in a way will lift them up through learning, education. Education is the best tool we possess to handle any issue we face in life. So this e-learning course in a way is also presented to hold the hand of people who are struggling in the lockdown. And it's worldwide. The lockdown is worldwide. So these are some practicalities I can offer. So first, don't be weak. You are spirit. Remember that all the time. Even though you are struggling, you carted out to the hospital, so be it. You are the spirit. Can't go like that. So that attitude you must have, this smiling attitude. It's difficult, very difficult. Even who I can talk like this, very difficult. And of course, the children suffer a great deal as well. I'm fully aware. I've got a granddaughter I can't see, I can't meet. I just see her on the phone. It breaks my heart. But you have to live through it. What can we do? And she's telling me, what can we do? I say, I don't know what we can do. Nishit Bhai, anything else you want to ask? Look, by the way, to endorse our e-learning course, I'm after Sachin Tandulkar to give endorsement.
Yes.
But I think he's so nervous about entering the field of religion because he gets immediately kind of clobbered by people of other religion. How dare you, blah, blah. So he's kind of holding his fire. But we hope he will endorse our course in days to come. Hopefully he will do that. So now you can throw googly, the cricket to me. Okay.
So the question is, what is the best way to explore human nature? Is it psychology, philosophy, or biology?
Well, to be very honest, you actually in a way codified all the three areas that we can touch on to understand our human condition. We have got the physicality, so you must understand your biological structure and your limitation and your abilities and so on, and handle that. You can't ignore it. The physicality cannot be ignored. Suppose I got a little itch here, I can't focus on spirituality, I can't meditate. So the physical aspect that we possess has to be taken care of, otherwise it becomes a hindrance. In fact, the doctor will tell you the best sign of good health is you're not aware of your body. So you must make sure that your body is in good working order, so it doesn't give you itches, it doesn't give you pain, and then you can perhaps think of something higher, more than the physical. So physicality has to be taken care of, the biology has to be taken care of. So you must avoid getting caught by the coronavirus, take care. Okay, the second aspect is the mental side. This is where we really struggle, all of humanity struggles. Because we've been kind of so weaned to think of external things. Our mind goes external automatically. It doesn't go inward. It goes outward all the time. So it is kind of focusing on the issue, on the world that we see with the five senses. The sight, the sound, the taste, the touch, and the kind of... So we are automatically, drawn outward. Our minds are automatically moving outward. This is the problem with all of living things. We look outward. We can't look inward. It's so difficult to look inward. So the fact that we have this thing called inward, inner structure called the mind, we ignore at our peril, because the mind then plays up and messes us up completely we don't know why. So we get psychotic problems, mental issues, mental problems, and stresses and strains and unfulfilled desires and frustrations all building up within us. And when the mind is out of control, you know what's the strange thing? The medical profession will agree, it affects your body. So they are strongly intertwined. So even though this is the inner structure, if you don't take care of the inner structure, it'll hit the outer structure as well. And that's what happens. A lot of issues that arise in the modern medical field are because of problem with your inner structure. Your stresses and strain creates physical problems for you. So you must look after the inner structure as well. These are just two dimensions. The third dimension that we talk about, that we promote and we kind of focus on, is the spiritual aspect. Your true nature is not the body, not the mind. I like to talk like that. Not the body, not the mind, not the intellect, not the ego. You are the spirit, my friend, spirit. And you need to kind of keep focusing on that to keep the mind and body under control. Otherwise they run away. They run riot. So if you can control, keep focusing on higher aspirations, higher ideals, then the body and mind play ball. In a way, this is what Bhagavad Gita teaches. In the Bhagavad Gita, a lovely example of Krishna talking about the charioteer. There's a chariot. Let me touch on it. This example used in the Upanishads as well as in the Bhagavad Gita. It's a nice allegoric idea. It's not genuine, it's not literal. Be careful, don't treat it as literal. They say the five senses we possess, which is taking us outward, are the five indriya, five senses that they can drag us towards the physicality. The person who is holding there's a rein that can keep the horses in check. And that rein is your mind. And that mind is controlled by a charioteer. Your intellect says, don't go this way, go that way. So the mind is controlled by your charioteer, your intellect. So far, so good. You've got the body, the senses, the mind, and the intellect to control your senses. But then Krishna says something very grand. He says, but my friend, the person who doesn't even bother with the reins, pulling the reins, etc., is the person sitting and enjoying the ride. That is your true nature, spirit. Even though you seem to be encased in the body and the mind and the intellect and all that, but really the thing that's sitting in there, not getting involved, not getting caught up, is your true nature, the spirit, Atman. This is the person who is riding the chariot. Doesn't get caught up with the shenanigans of the chariot. So I'm digressing a great deal. Manish Bhai, any question from you, sir?
Yes, we have an interesting question from Infected. He's saying, is sex only for procreation? And following on to that, with people in lockdown, are Hindus allowed to use contraception so that we don't have a huge population increase?
Interesting question to take on. In fact, fact, one of the ways people may find recreation is using sex, I suspect, because I was locked up. So what else can they do? So in contraception, according to Hinduism, contraception is acceptable because you're not taking life. You're stopping from life getting expression. So you're just stopping life from getting expression, physical expression. So you're not taking life, you're not killing life. So contraception, according to Hinduism, is perfectly fine. The Catholic Church will not agree. But we don't have any difficulty with the idea of using contraception. Fine. The idea is this. Sometimes sex is vilified. This comes from the Victorian UK, Victorian England. They thought it's ugly. Yeah, hide it. So they were kind of vilifying sex, and the Hindus were kind of caught up with Victorian values, and they also started doing the same. Let me tell you, I'm not saying promoting sex. I'm simply saying, look, the very force that creates the universe and makes us kind of continue to evolve from little bacteria to this human form, the very force that's driving the whole creation to move forward, continue to evolve, is this thing that appears as sex in living beings. Because in living beings, for living beings to continue to evolve, continue to survive, this necessary requirement for the gender attraction and for reproducing is an essential element of the way the universe continues to progress. So you can't vilify it. It's underpinning to reality. And the problem with sex is this. As we've been born, this is Hinduism, as we've been born again and again, so many times, this has been a very positive experience for us over many lifetimes. So it becomes kind of, in a way, wound up even more and more. So it gets enhanced with every lifetime. We think it's a very, very rewarding experience. So we get even more caught up with gender attraction as we go along. Because it's a rewarding experience in every life, and we've lived so many lives as animal and human, and they all add up. So it becomes strongly ingrained in all of humanity. It's a very powerful force, difficult to fight. Even the great, rishis, ancient and modern, have struggled. So be it. This is the inbuilt. Don't vilify it. If you know why you are attracted, it's not your fault. Over so many lifetimes, you had this rewarding experience that keep popping up, showing itself up. So once you know it for what it is, you can write about it. Why should you write about it? Why not play along? The reason is this. The greatest physical pleasure, according to Swami Ashokanand, the greatest physical pleasure a person can get is through the act of sex. Physical pleasure. You say, what's good? That's good, Miss Lakhani. What's wrong with that? The problem is this. That makes you think you are not the spirit, but you are the body. It brings you down to the animal level. So if you want to make spiritual progress, this thing that is, we don't vilify, the same way we don't glorify, because they never turn you into a quivering animal all the time. So you don't want to live your life like quivering animal. Any female passes by, you go, you're like a little slave, little puppy, a quivering animal. So you want to say, no, I'm the spirit. So in order for you not to get caught up by this gender attraction, you need to rise above it. That is the only reason why we say, guard against it, control it, keep it under control, keep it limited, so that you can ride above it, knowing the reason why it is so attractive, and yet it can be very damaging. Know this for what it is, then you can live with it. See, education is the best thing you can use to control your own emotions, your drives, and this is what our tradition teaches. Nishidbhai, anything else from you, sir? I think this should be the last question. It's already 57 minutes, I think.
I don't have any questions. I'm ready to wrap up.
Okay, Nishidbhai, wrap up.
Fine. So, as always, I want to wrap up with a quote from Swami Vivekananda. But before I do that, I want to give one sort of a little story.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Two salesmen were to Africa many, many years ago. And on reaching Africa, one of them said, "Oh boss, we better stop the orders because nobody here wears shoes." And they both turn off the orders because nobody here wears shoes. So really, it's all about how you think and what you think, what makes you and your life. So the quote from Swami Vivekananda goes, "We are what our thoughts have made us. So take care about what you think. Words are secondary. Thoughts live and they travel far."
We hope our e-learning course also travels far. Thank you, Nishidbhai, for wonderful words of wisdom. Thank you, sir.